Chandu Dani Japsuchi, Baji Chujen Dolam Panche Sange Dupa, De Chodan Toki Chonam La, Chandu Dani Japsuchi, Dagi Chonin Dike Tokanki, Dolam Panche Sange Dupa. Chodan Toki Chonam La, Chandu Dani Japsuchi, Dagi Chonin Dike Tokanki. Dolam Panche Sange Dupa. Gate, para, sum gate, bodhisattva. Gate, para, sum gate, bodhisattva. Gate, para, sum gate, bodhisattva. Para, sum gate, bodhisattva.
Hola, so takaje. Kangala tashi telecha, hola so. Simja tamjega todo topjala na macheba sanje komar machile yo tobacha. Ane de chebe ane chanju semba labja na chucho nyamzu langi. Lawale shengu shimbale tyoko. Tobale tuje sho mano wa chko tu. Kazu baba de ta. Juju shumbe teshe to jushni ni sazo komacha.
Good morning, everybody. We begin again by setting our motivation to do whatever we possibly can to attain the purest state of enlightenment by perfecting all the trainings on the Bodhisattva path. Of course, I know I have to know what those trainings are before I can perfect them. And to get to know them, I need to be able to listen and to understand what they are based on an unmistaken presentation. And so with this in mind, I am here to listen to a talk on a part of the text known as the Bodhisattva's Way of Life this morning.
And sheri chanya yesane yenyasha na tuzeko luze namba and kaso kula chu mo me to so what the tendency was some bakra shu yo sense what the kombacha.
And as normal, also we begin the lesson by visualizing the figure of Shakyamuni Buddha in the space in front of us. In reality, our own kind root guru, in aspect, the figure of Shakyamuni Buddha, the one who is skillful in means and greatly compassionate. He is seated on a throne. He has one face, two hands, the right hand in the earth-touching mudra, and the left hand holding an alms bowl filled with nectar.
What did the commercial? And range tago rala dincheva, that is said permanent chevron, Nian Dula Somata, the Anipa messenger, and the toner rank you make, Anton the you make. What a de la sovereign, joy the Juga Singer Tamja. That joy the Josenator comes with the Singer Tamja, Taka must one about that. Yes, and the Singer that Tamja reduces to Noshima number Minashi and Namju you can share. And the Tabjala to the symbol, the Tomba Shada to a Kusu to the Jeshibekan. On that social measure, what do you think about you? What did you go by?
And that we try to kind of really feel that the figure of the Buddha that we are visualizing is actually there. Now, in the space all around us, we visualize all kinds of other sentient beings, including our parents, those of our relatives, our friends, those who are neutral to us, and those who we regard for some reason or another as enemy or the one who we dislike. And that we must try to have the concept that all the sentient beings are present without exception. They are all the representatives of the 6 realms of existence, but even so, they are understanding this situation with a human intelligence. And therefore, like us, they are looking towards that central figure of the mirror field that we have visualized with this triple faith, the faith of conviction and the pure faith and the manifest faith.
That's said and Tabjala to the Toba Shaja to Bati, and the Casa the Anjiwo on Jamba Tuga horns, Yigusumji, Kombashet, Jiwo Omkaba, Jamba Armor, Tuga Horns, Tuga Hule, was a part of member journey, and Shingram Jan, Ishiba Jan Tane, and Ishiba did that Tamja, and to was saying Jum did the number Jan Tane. Do said to was Sanja Chum de number 2 to child party to was a chum team. And Chula Machel. Because only one go chula machill level and we give a weekend. What is called
And then focusing on the Buddha in front, the one who is skilled in means, we see that he is marked by the 3 syllables, the white Om on the crown, the red R at the throat, and the blue hung at the heart. And from this blue hung at the heart, light rays emanate and move out into the pure realms, inviting all of the wisdom beings and the empowering deities from their natural abodes. The wisdom beings, they come and they absorb into the figure, and the empowering deities confer the nectar of empowerment, which overflows on the crown, producing spontaneously a figure of Atrobia.
Or that the less commission and attack and judge to a Sanja Jum de Mibe and Casota and Kuso to Yunde Tibacone, the Taweta won't do it, so what ticket ship. And the Simjela Mibe and the Simjaka to end as well as Slamutane and that I don't end now Mr. Ninja and the Tilla tend to get Jamba and the doing net our chickens, some big Haxum. And it has some data and don't get Tawa Chica to Simja Tamjash and Simja Chica to again around the one to watch on to that useful to us then, Rangituna said ever, and Lama to be over two. Lama to be over combined matum, top of the Tobaina, and the Duja come the Samba, Palanya Chita, watch the King Yubayiza, and Kochi, Pambati Takacha, Pemelu to Tochomotu, so what did they, and never knew Betone, and the Simja Tamja Sanjakuba. That Tomachiki is something what in the Casada Semchikene, and the Chetaka, what the Casada Ginger should be changing his what the Kumasha.
And so here then we really kind of maintaining this awareness of the Buddha being in our presence and during the duration of this teaching. We think of the qualities of the Buddha's body, speech, and mind, really try to get an appreciation of them, to develop these faiths, the faith of pure faith, the faith of the manifest faith, and the faith of conviction, that we have this certain absolute trust in the Buddha, and particularly the teachings of the Buddha. And then to focusing on the all sentient beings all around us, we are conscious of their suffering, the variety and intensity of that suffering, bringing forth a strong feeling of compassion, wanting to freedom of that suffering. And we also develop this sense of love, of this affectionate love, and because of that, really feeling that we have a vested interest in their welfare. From that, then we start to develop this kind of special intention that actually it's I myself who must take responsibility to freedom of this suffering, place them in every happiness, etc. And that this is at the core of what I want to do. Unfortunately, as much as I want to do this for all sentient beings, I cannot even do this for one sentient being. But when I look at the figure in the Merrifield, the Buddha in front of me, I see that there is a statement which has the qualities of understanding the various karmas of sentient beings, the personalities, the dispositions, the thinking, and so on, and is able therefore to act perfectly to free them of their suffering. And so really, and they're able to do so effortlessly and spontaneously. So this is the state I must attain in order to be of this of supreme benefit to sentient beings. And so with this motivation, this mind of enlightenment, I am now settling into listen to some verses from the Bodhisattva's Way of Life.
What in bazaar, what the Takaja Tuba Sanja, Tula said, Lama Tua Ubati, Lama Tua Ubata, do some Sanja the Chajusama Tanjagata, Tanya the Den. What Takaja Jamia could do. What it is dead and water, Comashet, what the Takaja Jamia Tamja do what I do, and the Tomashaja to be good, give you soon the church. To the Sangi. What is a good job? Some duty was not good. That would what? Sanjay Ku can do it. Soon church and two Sangi. What is a Sangi church in this? What are the good job? Some what are it? What did the dead what did this dead and attack to come up to the Tamu to a chicken? So what did the commercial? What is it?
And so the Buddha in our visualization, the Guru Buddha in our visualization is the embodiment of all the Buddhas of the three times. And the Buddha is also the embodiment of all refuge. It has the representative of the triple gem in the figure of the Buddha. The body of the Buddha representative of the Sangha, the speech of the Buddha representative of the Dharma, and the very mind of the Buddha representative of the Buddha himself. And so this is we kind of like really have to understand how this is the case, and then to kind of really determine to attain that very state in our motivation to attain enlightenment.
That was Kawalista.
Shoktrang, ship sum.
Oh,
the Wogi Chikti Sumba. Dakwa Ma Sumba Zewe and Purwala.
Oh, yeah. Olas. Or Takaja, Takaja, Chebek Hatu, or what Chebek Hatu letter, Takaja letter, Takaja. Subata Tabu Masue, Ze Pujumse, Rodas, Tabu Zabu Besue, Ze Musu, and the Chebache. That and then the Tabu Masu Chebache, Puku Jumse, Rotakaja. Jumse, or that the Chintai, you say, Chicken. Tabu Masu, Sumba Tabu Masu, Jumse, the letter, that was on what it drops at it. Drops on the Taniba. Never so Rangi Lupuya. We understand my Rangi Lu.
Normally, so the Dakwamba Songway, Zewe Pulway, the Sasong, in a Gumsen, the Gimsen, the
Sumatabu Masu, said Puacha. That Sumatabu Masu, Zepu, Jumsen, Dan Sona Mitan Chete. Children no Santa Chamacha, Tena Shendu Combish. Could you tell Taji Dele Nigi Tushi said that? What did the shit?
So we are looking at the 7th verse, the outline which says that the reasoning behind our offering of materials that haven't got an owner, that have no ownership. And the root text says, having no merit, I am destitute, and I have no other gifts to offer. O protectors, you who think of helping others by your power, accept these for my sake.
Tatan Sonam Sabata, Mitembe Onje, Wish Pombe, ten to the Stakaja Kati Sosola, that they could put you marry in a Tabu Masu and say, Pay you in the Zep Chipu, Pay you by Yinza, what is what that Chetas, Kunjo, Chova Weber, Lord Shen, Longe. Rawanja Sosa on the Talachang Machibes, then a draw Shenji to la Combo Chon Namje, Combo also Combo Chon Namjes, Tabu Masu Chova the 다지 되게 내가 다부 마소에 쳐봐 되다 다 다지 되는 다지 된질래도 두고 시시다 소소가 되었다 생게 되었어도 소소 되어 차차로 소소 되었어도 심바 주요 말다 다른 것도 탐해와 삼보당다도 말고 다 다게 되었어도 샘제가 되어 주에 다게 되어 차더라 좋아 다게 되길래 이게 투시시 제법이죠.
So here saying that because of no previously collected merit, I am bereft and I have nothing to offer, destitute, as it says in the verse, and that in terms of what is suitable kind of wealth to offer to the triple gem or objects of use of others and so on. Again, I don't have anything like this. Therefore, you who think of others or benefiting others, these supreme protectors, please accept all of these offerings that have no owner and no ownership about them. For my sake and by your power, please accept them.
다 간제 저 다 ral 노르시 여바이네 답이 무슨 제 ral 표현 오요 디가서 심지 지도 그 내는 되는 좋아 임바 인사 어디 연구를 왔다 간제 매바이 바이네 소소로 무슨 표현 매바이네 답이 무슨 표현 왔다 가자 지금 어디서 그 소소로 여바이네 답이 무슨 제 표현 요래 양갈 그게 매 제자 답이 그 여바 인사 다 답이 무슨 제 표현 지금 말이 된다 말이야. 그러다 뭐 되는 말이야. 다 되는 임바 인사 어떤데 저 소소로 저기 무슨 표주 연애다 무슨 표현다 아니 답이 무슨 다 제 심지 지도 그 내는 되는 주에 대해 표현 요래 봐. 그러와 어떤데
And so this, of course, is not in any way implying that that if you have something to offer, that you don't need to. You just offer what is not owned by others. But here is saying, of course, that if what you have to give, you can give directly, and as well as that, you can make all of these offerings of objects that have no ownership also.
다 다기에서 니바랑게 류와네서 류와 자왈레 게다 데세 남라 다지네 다지 류군 텐도 우어치스 삼바초나 다니 용셰시 구베 케제 봉수 치와치 다니 케제 용수 소외나 데나 시나 미치 심제 펜버치 응게 디글레 양다 다기제 디바 셰야 렌제 미게 도스.
So the next outline is offering of our bodies. And this is dealt with in verse numbers 8 and 9. Eternally shall I offer all my bodies to the conquerors and their children. Please accept me, you supreme heroes. Respectfully shall I be your subject. But through being completely under your care, I shall benefit all with no fears of conditioned existence. I shall perfectly transcend my previous negativities, and in the future shall commit no more.
다 개와다 산제다 디세 장주 semban 남라서다 다기니스다 소소 다기네 라라 오베 다 소소로 오예 예데스 랑기 류가 예수 팀베자 랑지에서 라라 오베 다지 류 남바 군도 다 거두이네 24/7 데스고로 거두이네 다지 류 남바 군도 다기 자외 로또네다 란첸지가 로파 료단네 다 단다부터 란첸지가 로체나 소소 랑스가 제 야와도 란체바소티 로 진짜라 다 로티파 료단네 다네 다 뒤텐도 다 가두이네 텐도스 가두이네 인생 뒤주도 뒤텐도 아니죠 우아기스다 뷰이스 우아기에서 셈바초나다 근데 아니 셈바초 자주 선반 남지 사제 자주 선반 남지 류 용수 셰시 당스다 셰로치스 다 대진 다 소수기 대바 다외대와 이치기 대바 문제기 대바 대대기 대진 위에서 케지 방수 치와치스다 단에서 다 키라로 공화 있다 치와치 워시.
So here referring to the the conquerors and the children of the conquerors, the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, saying that here I freely give my body, and I give it continuously, 24/7. And that there's no kind of like regret or holding on to it. There's no kind of the mindset of thinking of mine and is banished, is kind of like overcome, so that I can freely give, and that I do this to give to all of you heroic ones freely. Please accept this offering, and then with faith and with respect, I make this offering as your subject.
다 다니 다 소소 캐난지 요소 소에나 다 소소 바 비사다 나래 다바 가야 요 말보다 소에나 아니 시바 코아나 가서 시바 코아딜라 직신 직바다 데네 심전나라 편발 기긴 있다 시바 코아디 라 코아나사 시바 코아나 미직신 다 근데 맞아 소소로 옹아 가야 매바 연자 안다 시바 코아스긴 들었다 지주 가임도 미직신 지바다 데베나 안다 셈젠남라 편바기 왔다 소소 레가데 셈젠 편바기에 매버서 편바 제버도 셈매버서 편바기지 아니 뭐지 디바사와레 양다와 다와 기친 서다 데데 제토엔 땅고게 디바사와 데줄레 양다와저 다도와들레 파리도 좋도와 총스 기친 디바시 렌체 솔라뼈자 미치도 셔보다 나사바디베도 마다바체 디바시 렌체 솔라바바이나다 지금 소소소를 내가 두고 여봐 이네 디바들레 다 디바디 코도 마도 미치도 셔보죠.
And then it goes on to describe how then having completely, as it were, really left behind any sense of ownership over my reality, my body, and I have dedicated all to you. Then I will come under your kind of like protection, and that being under your care, as it says, that therefore I will have no fear of cyclic existence. There I will be kind of separated or free from that fear, and therefore have all of my energy to devote to benefiting others, and that also I will be able to completely get beyond all previously accumulated negativity. And furthermore, from now on, I will avoid negativity also, even at the cost of my life.
어들 차게 다래 다 랑게 되었는데 매차네 려다나 다 생게 되는데 랑게 되어 차도 아니 디과사고에 경제 가요 마다 디과사와데 랑진세 온게 와다 다 사고요 다 소소 제거에 생게 되는 제면도 가야 하면 인사 디과사요 마다 문에도 가서 신세리 시베 문에도 데이트 좀 지기나 다
And so here, of course, what is pointing to here, if somebody has sincerely offered in this way, has done this, then it follows naturally that if one is working for the purpose of others, that then is really concentrating on the benefit of others. Now, no longer, therefore, really dominated by the self-cherishing energy. So what it's saying here is that if you're working truly for the purpose of others, then you have no real cause or reason to accumulate negativity. You will get beyond negativity, as it says here, because negativity is the result of a self-cherishing impetus. And so this is where negativities arise, how they arise. So saying sincerely that if you work for the purpose of others, you will get this kind of like supreme kind of side effect of being able to not only benefit others but avoid negativity from your own side.
jealousy the kanka ran jenzel teno ran jenzel the palen and shen jenzel and shen pamba tubeta and shen digite and rang digi cha cha du 안다 되게 그가 용의 매트가 저와 용의 매트가 저와 다
And so here is saying that, whether it's desire, attachment, aversion, hatred, ignorance, and so on, all of these arise from the self-cherishing impulse that we have. And that jealousy also is another result of the self-cherishing. When we have this kind of like massive self-importance, then all of these attitudes are going to cause us grief. But when we change that around to really care for cherishing others and looking out for the welfare of others and the happiness of others, then there's nothing really stopping our own happiness as well arising from that.
是的，他说吧，我的这大概就是让给这个可说的，他其他缺乏配合的了，让给特别说的，特别没说这个特别说缺乏的，大家的这俺那让给旅游啊，说特别没说让给旅游啊，俺那让了有没缺乏，让给介绍过，这个我干什么？俺说那啥的就了出游吧，讲究个什么的给完了，俺说那不打过去买吧，呢？ 아니 자주고 섬이 깨두고 요 말이야. 아니 개바 얘네 관에 관도 패두고 요 말이야. 다간데 네가 소나기 잡잘 때는 저거 요자. 로아 소나기 잡을 때는 저거 요에서 어떻게 전부 수차도 랑게 동배 윤대 관에 관도 패 되게 되고 개전부 차들도 아니 다간데 디바 잡았다. 되게 레서는 개전부 차들어 소나기 잡지 맞잖아. 어다 되는데 진짜 뭐가서 추가 필요해 되다 뭐들지 어떻게 아니 라도도 랑게 류 롱주 객자된 맞자 보고 어쩌네 아니 가서 진짜 그걸 하요 말다 그렇죠 다 간제 셀라 가서도 뭐사를 셀라 피사도 랑이 인스 다 부자 없어지 요 말고 다 셀라 셀다 피다 제버스 집어 왔다 로다 디제도 와들 다 된데 이번에도 다 될 때는 아니 가서도 다 간제 지금 현진적인 아니 남네 피다고 제일 편도고 요 봐.
So this emphasis on offering in this section of the text is very, very important. Offering what is owned, what is unowned, and that offering our bodies, etc. It is very, very important in the context of, again, of course, developing the mind of enlightenment, because great merit is required in order to be able to generate that mind of enlightenment, in order for that mind of enlightenment to increase more and more in one's life. So merit here is the name of the game. When we talk about offerings, what we're doing is generating a positive merit. And that's and this is also, to kind of really lay the foundations for realization, etc. And so this is a very, very important in all cases, like offering all of our bodies and all of objects of use that we have and so on. And, in the context of, combating self-cherishing on the other hand, and wanting to generate cherishing mind, cherishing others, it's a great benefit, really, this practice of offering. And because, we're releasing ourselves of any grasping onto what we have by making the offering, and then we're offering to others, so it's increasing that sense of importance with which we should be holding others in order to truly cherish others. So it's kind of a very, very important practice. As we discovered in the Lam Riemann earlier, actually, as well, talking about really eradicating all inconducive conditions for our practice and establishing all conducive conditions that support our practice. So in that context, practices like offering and later on the purification of negativity and all that are extremely important.
So le tube chuba piwasa, ta le tube chuba piwa de la, ta chuba piwa la niche, lana yube chuba, lana mebe chuba che, lana yube chuba che, roa de lana mebe chuba, ta kanchi tabo de la jungni chen, lana yube chuba de jungni chen, ta kanchi tuida, nasa piwa, ken, chuba, medo, pi, ane shese, nangse, ane kanchi 다 셰베칸 또 소모 쳬베 나바 그 쳬베 나바 그 어서 나바 쳬베 나바 게미 쳬바라 징게 나바서 어디를 신나 가서 다 같이 되게 어디가 저 상승이 쳬바디가 차대도 어디를 쳐
So the third main headline then is the offering of that which is emanated from the mind, from our imagination. And that here this has two main subheadings. First is how do you say, mundane offerings, and then the second is supra mundane offerings. So another way of putting it is limited offerings and then unlimited offerings, or peerless offerings. The first of these, the limited sense of offering, is the offering of material things, and this has 12 points to be made. The offering of a bath, the offering of clothing, the offering of ornament, the offering of perfumes or dreams, the offering of flowers, the offering of incense, the offering of food, the offering of light, the offering of a palace, the offering of umbrellas, and the offering of music. And then also there's this blessing for the capacity to continuously make offerings. And the first of these is the offering of a bath. And so this is 3 points to be made. First of all, the generation of the bathing chamber, then the offering of the bath, and then the drying of the bodies. Some of you may recall that in the Lam Rim, the graduated path presentation of teachings, this offering of bath is done quite extensively in that section of the text where it deals with describing the 6 preparatory practices prior to meditation, and in the context of the merit field offering to all the members of the merit field, the generation of the bathing chambers, the offering of the bath and drying of their bodies, the offering of beautiful clothes and raiments, and so on. It's done very beautifully there. So the verse number 10 deals with the generation of that perfect bathing chamber, where it says, to very sweetly scented bathing chambers with brilliantly sparkling crystal floors and exquisite pillars ablaze with gems, having canopies above aglow with pearls.
这是推说我是推说罗些我大概这个可说的这个电话这个实习的时候那些真的实习给那个他们家的电话我da tu na te zu kyo tap je de tewa wa da de 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 je ne wa da wo de de ko ba che ne wa de de tu su tu short of de ko ba se and tu su che
Could just somebody who has their mic on, please? It's causing a little bit of a disturbance. It's becoming a little bit difficult to hear. Yes. So with the description then of the debating chamber. So here in the debating chamber, the sweetly scented debating chamber is scented by the likes of sandalwood and camphor. The beautiful scents they're wafting through. You have crystal floors that are sparkling, shining, which spread like flower petals and so on. And that these jewel encrusted pillars around the beams there also beautifully pleasant and beaming as well. And then the canopies from above, over and above you, have the kind of hanging and kind of sewn in pearls and other ornaments that are really, again, beautifully sparkling and beautifully set up. And this is kind of like the description akin to what it's like in some of these pure realms.
What in the chat? And it tuition deleta, then didn't the second that Lamrim Dibala, tuition delay, and but you don't just a pugata with the two Yobachin, did do the get and a tree pure and put Savig and that two switch again. That because of the shoot to get it, and shoot to get it, and make a Casate Dory Duke Simjal Ma Chin, and a digger what the Tibalas of Mata to a trick was you are. Well, lovely to let us good one. What did the check?
And also, there's in more extensive explanation in the graduated path, it describes not only these the actual pools into which the bodies descend, but also afterwards that the water from these pools flowing out through kind of 6 like pipes, and each one goes into one of the 6 realms of existence, and thereby purifying the negativities and obscurations of the beings within those realms.
다 대다게 내는 내배 아니 저거 코라도 동안 가리요 봐야 되게 마시와 채소 삼사 안 디시와 제와 마세 안 토마메 버티버도 마차소 삼사
the sufferings within the particular realms then are pacified, and not only that, but also their negativities and obscurations are purified as well.
다 니바 추스에 출라고 다가 다 지나 지게서 와를 셰고 소스 다게 그 송바디스 송바디로 부 그래서 추줘서 부가 주요가 공부하시는 야고요다 다 니바 추스에 출들라 자와려서 대신 셰반난다 대 스탠남라 진짜 bomba 뼈기추 영원레바 루다네 로마체바투메 고초스스
And so then the next outline, the actual offering of the bath. This is in verse 11. I beseech the Tathagatas and their children to come and bathe their bodies from many jeweled vases filled with waters, scented and enticing, to the accompaniment of music and song.
태바 첨부가 다 마야나 tradition 스타체벨 룩스스 다 지역에는 celebration 될 제벨 룩스모도 이나 초가 나다 요래 초가 뭐다 냠내 나다 지기로 와다 추고 좀 베스 다 개부지 그래 이내 섬저 다데 위삭 데서 근데 이내 다데 빨리 tradition 위삭 데도 발 산제 구충조지 샤제 안디가 출루에 데 지기도 와 근데 가서들 룩스데 도저 오스트레일리아 통스데 거기서 위삭 데 직주도 와다도 제대로 소소 될래도 어디 내가 공부 시도나 양보다 이제도 초조 산제다 자주 선바 탐제라 아니 추수고 요서 아니 되게 정바도 선바 땅도나 안 식도 저 되었나 이세 이제 bomba 뭐 뼈죠 요한래 바칸데 루다네 로모체바 좀 꾸쳐서 와다 식도 삼로다네 되었나 어디에서는 초주의 상계의 장주선 탐제를 꾸쳐서 요서 아니 먼저 남리부터 삼로다네 이 오바 주네 도와주고 심지어 탐자 뒤 코나주에 아니 꾸스 코나주를 디바데 코나주를 교도 디바데 디바도 말에 나라도 디바데 디바다 해쳐도 왔다 다 뒤쳐도 안도 어디서 아니 되게 코나주가 진압되게 되면 도와주고 심지어 탐제를 마치네 아니 되게 내가 그동안 가르쳐 마시와 채소 야, so, 엠베 단단 가라도 라서는 가라도 코로나 와이러스라 미 룽바들 강에 두가. 아 디게 엠베 내나서 동안 가시와 중 삼사 대 고마시 요 봐. 디게 가 삼로 단. 퉁게제 개겐 가서 개겐 가서 퉁게 상 개겐의 대화 중서 어디 고마시 요라. 어디 갑을 되게 뒤제다고 들을지도 안 소소 대화래 지금 제고 저 미 지금도는 제가 소소 비과 되게 좀 되나. 이제 좀 소소 이게 좀 제투마도 내줄로 가로 와. 삼로 되게 당도는 야고 요 봐.
So, this process here, this particular practice of offering all of these different as perfect offerings as much as we can imagine to the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, the holy beings, etc., is kind of more strongly associated with the Mahayana tradition. But I've noticed in celebrations such as in Vesak that within the Pali tradition also, you will find, maybe some of you have witnessed it, where there's a small statue of the Buddha, and you can come and offer a bath to the Buddha during that particular festival. And so it's very good if we kind of witness that, and kind of like it's to augment that too, to kind of include not just the figure of the Buddha there, but all the Buddhas of the 10 directions and the all of the Bodhisattvas, that we are making that offering, giving that offering of a bath to them, that the water itself is exiting through the 6 pipes into all of the 6 realms of existence, pacifying the sufferings there, purifying various negativities and obscurations there. And to be mindful also that, it's our practice of imagining all of this happening, but it's our negativities that we are purifying as well by doing this. It's our negativities mainly that are being purified. And, we try to include in that as much as possible that, the pacification of other kind of sufferings that are more obvious and prevalent now, such as, pandemics and sicknesses, illnesses, and so on, all around. Anything really that is included within the collection of conducive conditions that we must eradicate for us to be able to practice seamlessly and continuously, and then generating all of the collection of conducive conditions that allow us our practice to flourish. So within that sort of overall kind of context, we take incidents and occasions like this and really try to make the most of them.
이동을 알레퍼 강와스다 봄베 날와티게티 제티게 레바 강와 녀베 루다체나 다데 다군에 전에 다가저 남교티 가서도 초가다네 엔티 봄바도 봄베나게 제티게 다 남교 지금 상하고 출루 요사된줄라이나 아니디 트랜스포메이션 chen 초가다chen 리줄토네 초가다네 트랜스포메이션 chen 아니 뒤질레 큐네 동자체는 아니 라 가서도 다 가자 지금 어저 남주 제 규마티 동바 네 동자체는 아니 사매가 젤파 몇번 좋았다 세다 나다 땡에 지금 뉴발에 때네 어다가 transformation 전 어떤 스피커들 네벨로 다시 해서 어떤 저저 어떤 네벨로 당했다 당전 아니 고쳐서 아니 그 네벨로 다 아니 로모다 되게 돈은 다 근데 티불라서 왔는데 돈 지금도然后就到或者是中国多，然后这边就顾着说是，然后他这边对面顾着说是我的讲。
And so here, the offering again to all of those who've gone to bliss, the Tathagatas, the Buddhas, as well as all of the Bodhisattvas, that here with the many vases or vases that are beautifully made, and that with gold or from any other precious metal, and that here they are crusted like with jewels as well. They hold this beautifully scented water that is, and are filled just to the right amount, and really everything is done with such grace and such beauty, and accompanied by the music and song as well, and that here to we offer a bath in that kind of atmosphere to all of the holy beings. And so it's very kind of this is very kind of reminiscent of what we do in the ritual associated with tantric practice when we have the ordinary substance within the vase, and then it's transformed into nectar through the process of emptiness and so on into the material, using the material itself, the mantra and the meditative concentration to effect that transformation, and then making the offering there. So everything is kind of like in the sense of exalted and perfect that we are making the offering with.
수바 꾸치와네 자왈이야 대다 고라 총바 매베고 자다 제다 고에 꾸치고 스다가 제체 어들체 다테네 추유 대다게 고라 고라사 총바 매베고 잠시 상와 지시부 라도 고베 꾸치고 스다가 제 어들게 안에 가서 대다 간제 레다 what did it that high yes that
and then the offering of the drying of the bodies. So the first few lines of verse number 12, let me dry their bodies with incomparable cloths, clean and well anointed with scent. So here again, to the object of offering, we are making the having these kind of incomparable cloths, the beautiful, soft, like celestial cloth that we are making, incredibly clean, beautifully scented as well, with beautiful perfumes and so on. In this way, that the bodies are dried.
나사 부자왈레 데네텔라 카도 레주베 나사 시도 지신 담바 고산 sabla chamba 나조당 어저 나조당
and then the offering of clothing, and then so continuing on with verse number 12 and the second line of verse number 13, and then may I present these holy beings with fragrant garments of suitable colors and various raiments, fine and smooth.
구치 베젤라 데데 아니 추유 데다라 카도 레바 주베스 나사 신도 지시바 담바 뷰싱스다 그 어디스 아니 저 롱구 차제자 다가제 저 가서도 롱구 차제자 다 하이 차루 제게들의 임바이나 아니 하이 차루 차제자 소라 아니 그 상보 sabla cham바 입다 카도 나서 맞자 플러스 셔 오셔 그래 다 초고 주고 나바지마이나 초고 남솔와 메도 야 카도 시바 자조들 표현 용 말마자 롱구 남바젤라 하이 나바젤라 카도 나서 맞고 그러와 어떤데 당 라라게 아니 가서데 차루다 준비했다 가자데 준비 아니 가서데 다 거의 피했지 못했어.
And so then following the drying of the bodies, And then the beautifully colorful, well-dyed clothing, just beautifully scented clothing, excellently tailored, is offered to the object of offering. And it's akin saying here to, when we kind of like offering that which is suitable for a Sambhogakaya body, a complete enjoyment body, where like they are bejeweled, ornamented, etc., beautifully done. Everything is fine, fine cloth, very smooth. Again, beautifully tailored, with again a variety of different colors. This is the way we offer the clothing.
다 견초 자자되다 그 견초 자자되다 대다기 파바군도 산다 자면다 아니 가서 지금 원조 소라 의학기시
Then the next is the offering of jewelry, of ornament, and here 3 lines from verse number 13. I adorn with manifold ornaments the Aryas, Samantabhadra, Manjugosha, Avalokiteshvara, and all the others.
다들 어디다 우견라 소베 견초 우견라 소바다 하이차제잖아 우리 다가서 뉴스 진짜다 되게 하이차제자 우견라 소베 견초 자자되다기 파바 뭐 어디 건다 파바군도 상보 네다 다 안에 잡에 양다 지금 원주 소라에 겸바기스다 뉴스 진짜라 소바다 되는 겸바기스
And so here it's saying like as one would adorn the likes of the child of the conqueror, Manjugosha, Samantabhadra, Avalokiteshvara, etc. I offer like crowns and other various manifold, multiple forms of types of jewelry to them.
야, 시바 주고 배워네. 주고 배워나 자와래. 동서권을 정해 당와 지선의 도안의 세자 좀 지다 제바 외자 배워야 주버 계시.
And so here then is the offering of perfumes, and here verse number 14 says, just like polishing pure refined gold do I anoint the Buddha's forms that blaze with light with the choicest perfumes whose fragrances permeate 1,000 million worlds.
어디다 동서제다 perfume 시로 다가 저데 지표와들라 다간제 동송콜라 동송스다 동송직된 컵 동송군도 증해차 증해 당와예 지초 남제 통화군지고 세 가서 통화군지고자 고 세지 마장배어서 조마 세지 마장배 조마 지도 레버제바 신도 왜 착상 파요 그때다 주보기고 세모고 어디서
And here, so as it says in the verse, the offering the 1,000 million worlds and kind of incense, that's which the fragrance which permeates 1,000 million worlds, the very supreme perfume really, that we are, as it were, anointing the Buddhas, and that with the kind of a golden burnished stainless purified bodies of the Buddhas, that this is the purity with which we offer this permeating incense.
올라서 땅가봐 매도 비왔네 통화 천에 쳐라 이원배 매도 매다라다 빼마다 우벨라서 지시 탐자다 처와벨레 이원 남지 취셔.
Verse number 15 deals with the offering of flowers. And to the highest objects of giving, I offer beautiful well-arranged garlands, as well as enchanting, sweet-smelling flowers such as lily, jasmine, and lotus blooms.
오저 더 통화 전에 초라 이동에 매도 맨다라 아니 빼마다 오벨라 구둠 어서 우두모라 라소베스 우두모라 라소베 지심 초와 탐제 시마 제바타 안 카르마 나소제 차와 벨레 메도 차와 요구다 차와 벨레 신 차와 벨 차와 벨자 다 렉시 이동아 남지 초바 기워서 왔다 로다 메토 나소바나 초바 기워서 왔다 들이 어들지 마사왔다 봐
And so here again to the supreme object of offering, I make the offering of pleasing flowers, be they lilies, jasmines, as it says, the different types of lotus, the Untamwara lotus, which is apparently a fabulous lotus of immense size, and that they all have kind of beautiful scent, and they have kind of an enchanting scent. And I offer in both a kind of mixture of petals and also with beautifully constructed garlands of red and white and various colors. And that these will all be really beautifully done, very pleasing, enchanting. And so I make these offerings of flowers.
다 두고 빼표안에서 빼표안에 자월에서 딱한제저 빼초 이초 등에 차와이 두배 진초 남장 될라피스
Next is the offering of incense, and this is the first two lines of verse number 16. Also, I send forth clouds of incense, whose sweet aroma steals away the mind.
다 두배 빼초 서로다 두배 뒤에 빼초도 좋아 이동하다 아가로라 수메다 아가로로 소베 티다 초줄 잡았다 아가로로 소베스다가 지금 가서다 가서 라신기 맹게 제 마부치기 야 뒤셔 줘로다 아가로서다 벽에 제 니셔 장알로서 받는 용거 로다 된데게 슝데 셰바데 셰가 왔다 된데게 빼 라소베 아니 지다 지 당스 초주 잡자다 초주 차바이 두베 진짜 남자 요아지 소원인데 지상부디가 더 요아지 인스부기스
And here is talking about the offering of supreme incense, like from sandalwood, etc. That we're talking about there, not just that which smells beautifully, but also kind of has medicinal properties as well. Beautifully scented medicinal herbs and plants that are as described in the texts. And that these kind of permeate the 10 directions, as it says here, like clouds of incense, swelling clouds of incense. I make these offerings.
Oh, delicious. Da do not share puanis, share puanis. Zawale share Saturn, that's what Javaye, Hashum Lambda Della Luagis.
Next is the offering of food. And this is the second half of that same verse 16, as well as celestial delicacies, including a variety of foods and drinks.
What share Saturn? So what the double is share Saturn, that's what Javaye, Hashum Lambda Della Luagis. Kado Giro Nuba Pusum Soba Yuting and Rota Kacha Pusum Soba share Saturn, not so what Java. Hashum's 남자다 하이 셰세 서로 하이 셰세 로자데 데바 하이 셰세 남자 안데 그거겠음.
And so here it says, like, the offerings here again absolutely supreme in terms of the color of the food, the appearance of the food as well, the scent of the food, and the nutritional value. Again, all of that, what is given to eat and drink with great variety, it amounts to really kind of like talking about celestial delicacies here that we offer.
是我到这些这种俺就当的景点来看了可得我说得嘛的，我就看了当的的。社会呢，其他属过的朋友的，啥其他下家吧，查的查些哪啥有那么我用过多，但他说我们这个我点这个哪啥用过多的。
So there's a fundamental different quality to the food that is described as these celestial delicacies here, compared to the best of what we can offer here in this world. Whereas, you may have, delicious food that you can offer in this world, but you may have the side effects of gaining weight, becoming very fat, and also attached to that food. But these are qualities that are not associated with celestial delicacies.
我大概我等着讲的，这我等了比如说，他给吧，可是给吧，还是南山比完呢，是南山比完呢，我南山比完呢，设计是白马差多我玩意，人家专门南家玩去些。
And the next number 8 is the offering of light. Again, the first half of verse number 17. I offer them jeweled lamps arranged on golden lotus buds.
但那设计是那设计白马差多我玩意，俺的一度可是差多我玩意，顶多是他这个顶多可是马这边。顶多是马这边难度下吧，远把人家专门南家给我些。
And so here we picture these beautiful jeweled lamps, and that they are kind of on these bases of golden lotus bases, like placed on top of these golden lotus buds or bases, and that here again the beautifully arranged. And again, these jeweled offering lamps and so on are offered in this way.
他古巴前面看不完呢是，古巴前面看不完呢，啥些到我别个就过点，买到以往什么张把给前面破张对呀，以往的目的人家坚强，再把我把也那个研究给大家。
Number 9 is the offering of the palatial abode, palace. The rest of verse number 17 plus the verse number 18. Upon land sprinkled with scented water do I scatter delicate flower petals. To those who have the nature of compassion, I offer palaces resounding with melodious hymns, exquisitely illuminated by hanging pearls and gems that adorn the infinities of space.
我的了讲，他啥些大哇，别个就话，的买到移动哇，什么张把钱了，俺前面就破张，他们南就是对呀，你把移动哇的天把的，目的的人家都没经济，全部长远再把它。俺可是远包啊，八爷就是八度白白，点击难怪再把这个，难怪监督就把这大家突然让先讲了，我给我讲。
And so here the palace is on this well-prepared ground that is sprinkled with perfumed water, then also with petals scattered with rose petals or different flower petals. And they into this inside of this palace then is the female deities are singing these hymns of songs of praise that are enchanting, extremely pleasant to listen to, and that inside also there are these strands of pearls and other gems that are beautifully arranged and hanging around down, and that the whole place is illuminated with a limitless beautiful lights and lamps, and that and this kind of like making this offering, as it says, to adorn the infinities of a space. And thus I make this offering to those who are naturally endowed with great compassion.
다 되나 주바 독비와네사 린첸 독제 세제 요아체 거의 경제 정바 이용하체 이율에 따나 독바 정바야 다도 통한나로 요아체세.
So then verse number 19 is the offering of umbrellas, canopies. And so here the verse says, eternally shall I offer to all the Buddhas jeweled umbrellas with golden handles and exquisite ornaments embellishing the rims, standing erect, their shapes beautiful to behold. So,
제시 어제다 렌제 나소베 제버지베다 렌부체 나소베 제버제 두 제와서 제와 안에 세계 요아체 타이 고요 렌부체 두메 겐지 넘버 이동아 겐싱서 이 렉싱 따나두바 푸데 정바야 뒤다도 통한나로 요아체 어떤데 도티게 된 통한나로 여기 있어 어떤시
again, these beautiful umbrellas that are again encrusted with many different types of gems and jewels, with the golden shaft and with the fringes around the edges of the umbrella, also decorated with various jewels and gems, and that they are so pleasingly decorated. The whole object is an object of art, well crafted and beautifully upright with a beautiful shape, etc. And so I make the offering of these.
Oh yeah. Then 주제바 로모 비와네사 자왈레 델레시아 최베소 로모 야네 이원데 세네 셈제 동에 세제베 진나 소소 내주치사.
And number 11, the offering is the offering of music. And verse number 20 states, and in addition, may a mass of offerings resounding with sweet and pleasing music, like clouds that appease the misery of all, each remain for as long as necessary.
다 ngalpuwa dele sheya chebeso ane zangala sobata jaga todanja zamanga twa zangala sobeta romo ta na soba romo ta ane yanyamba yido ta temba teba zamje semje je tunge sene nen dewe chimba yisimba chebe an jinam soso nation juwa juji cheba washa.
And so here saying that as well as that which has been previously offered, that here again we make the offering of like the music, the orchestral music from a variety of instruments such as the tabla, etc., where just by hearing this beautiful music, beautiful, pleasing, melodious music, that the suffering of sentient beings is eased, and that one can be contented with happiness. And it's like this cloud of music, nay, kind of like this, as it says here, to may it remain as long as is necessary.
다 되네 중립보다 최변 넘버 규미체바 표와 규미체바 징길랍데 표와 다 규미체바 내가 징길랍네 아니 피디치 로 어디르죠 군초 어가서 담죠 군초 탐제다 최대한 남다 고소라 이제 매도 라소 차 규미체바 버버쇼스.
And number 12 of this particular list states a blessing to be able to continuously make such offerings. This is verse number 21. And may a continuous rain of flowers and precious gems descend upon the reliquaries and the statues, and upon all the jewels of Dharma.
롱도기 뒤에서다 롱도기 뒤에 담배 최군조 탐제 당사다 롱기 뒤바다 안 도배 뒤에 담배 최군조 탐제당 아니 투기 때 뭐다 레다 투기 때 최대 남다 지불기 꿀라 소바 소바다 디게텔라 린치 리부치 메도라 소바 최배 차서 코아치시 바도다 코아치시 마동게 바도 규미체바 바바 교체체 먹었어.
And so here, it's saying that upon the jewel of the Dharma, which is the Holy Dharma, which is the collection of all of the that's scriptural and realizational Dharma, and then all of the reliquaries, which are the basis of the Buddha's mind, stupas, etc., and then all of the painted and carved statues that may a kind of a rain of offerings of jewels and flowers and so on descend upon all of these in a continuous flow. As long as saying cyclic existence exists, may it continue to do so.
다니바 라나 매베 쳐바니에서 어느 자월이야 지다 자냐 라소베 겨와나라 최제바 대신 다지 대신시 공부세가 제는 최제.
Next is the outline, which states the offering of that which is unsurpassed, or the unlimited offerings. And from the root text, verse number 22 says, in the same way as Manjughosha and others have made offerings to the conquerors, similarly do I bestow gifts upon the Tathagatas, their protectors, their children, and all.
잠배 양다 구도 상부 라 소베 안 투제 남제서 로다 투제 못다 남제 자주 상부 좀 나제 은 최배제 다 누가제 대다가 최배제 난가 강화 주네 다 최배제 난가 그가 주네 겨와나로 최바제바 대신도스 로 겨와나로 최바제바 대신도 다지장 아니 가서 다지장 대신셔봐 함이 고보 세다 제바 남라서 초바기 와서 와다데 제 디게데 뭐서 샴바다 아니 배 이게 타야바 주네 아니 동성기 동주부 직대 감 용서 아니 봐 주체는 앞이 되죠.
So here it's describing the offerings made by the likes of Manjughosha, Samantha Bhadra, etc. All of these, great beings, the kind of offerings that are kind of like beyond the realms of space even, that they have generated, and made the offerings to the conquerors, etc. And likewise to the ones gone to bliss, and the deities, human beings, protectors, and children of the conquerors, etc. I make all of these offerings. So it's describing really these kind of this limitless sense of offerings of the 3,000 million worlds of offerings, the clouds of offerings that continuously are offered in this way.
다가르세 초바 비고 라야 류파도 메바트 류레레야 카파도 바바 카레레라 제파도 메바트 네네 다 아니 최베게 아니 가서다 다 뼈양 비에 다 된다 야 라게 류파도 메바트네 차도 초발라서 지에다 다가제 지금 상고집에 몰람네 송안의 신기 그봐 상주다 진짜의 송안의 신기 배 타여버 주네 피에 정도로다.
So again, of course, there are many descriptions of being able to make these peerless offerings in this way, such as our emanating, countless replicas of our own body with which to make offerings, and countless tongues with which to sing the praises of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in that sense, to make offerings. as it's stated in the King of Prayers and other aspirational prayers.
Niba cha wala nicha ngaji deba choba da lugi duba che oterse nicha ta tangbo de la casa de ngagi deba choba de la ta zawale yenden jazu na nablan ta doya yala jazu de doya nyenjin de da la ngeba ta to chungju chesa ngeba kundu chungju chesa.
And then the next outline is described as the making of prostration. And this is two subheadings. This is the a verbal praise, and then the bowing of the body. The first of these from the root text, verse number 23. I glorify the oceans of excellence with limitless verses of harmonious praise. May these clouds of gentle eulogy constantly ascend to their presence.
Ngaji toba de la rangi yenden jazu jawa seda jeba nabla daji esa ko lu jeda jeba padu meba tren ta de sanju ke pisla ba rangi lu padu meba lu le ko padu ko be ba ko re che padu meba tren ta ga toba che junggur wata what's jeba padu meba tren yenden jebe de yang ke esa yala jazu toba jiwo che.
So here, to the conquerors and their children who are this ocean of good qualities, here saying, I with emanate countless bodies, countless heads, countless tongues, to really sing the songs of praise to these wonderful beings. And to make this offering, and again referring to the King of Prayers as is stated there just now, and that here these songs of praise are very pleasant, as described here, like clouds of gentle eulogy, praises to all these, and may they continue constantly are heard and present in the reality of all of these holy beings. So yes, that then these offerings of praise, these songs of praise, like countless clouds of these offerings to the object of offering, to whom they are being offered, and may they always be part of their reality.
Yeah, the Sangboche Molamde, and do you Nimari read it don't on a pair of your. Today, Majona Tapena, due to the teller job in a weekend cover. Tarde don't to Sanju Molam the Geshe Konchok Molam got to a Tom Chambuchere, Pemsia.
Just a recommendation for everybody that if you have the time, it would be a wonderful practice to recite the King of Prayers on a daily basis. But if you're busy, to really try and fit it in sometime at the weekend when you have that time as well. It's got such power to it, great merit to being able to recite that prayer.
So the Pama Pinja Tobo Tomo, Washima over the sometime you would in the drawing there, was some Makiwachan Devale, called Makiwachan for Yonaka Yamara. I get you should me within the test I do, and a Dilla Pembechedo, and Sanju Molom the part, do it, Tamja Shani, and doing that. And Matale Shash, you shall go about to do. That's also leg, is a mixing of Pento Jungria. 거의 개와 야불레다 직전에 팬도 좀 그래라 아니 소소리나 바자지 시작이래 아 딜라 오늘 전에 그다 미 정도게 될라 나라서 셈마기 받잖아 대백이 미 정도 것들 가평가 말이 가평가 말 소소 뒤주 쳐라래 아니 소소게 아니 너는 나자 차야 되는 년가 요래 딜레 다 딜레 팬에서 약수 가래 아니 소소게 지 개와주 줘봐이라 야나 소소게 지금 냠네 샤바드에 가르치게네 야나 지 상주고 말로 니마를 사르 동네 야나 딘다를 사르 동이나 어떤데 그 지금 어떤 거 맛이 보듯 데데게 지기서 땅문에 전에 팽게 다 들라 아니 소소래 팽게 다 표준지 배도 와 가서 담가 뭐노 지 빼게치 버리도 첨성 가서 지 니제 지 말아도 셈게 보지 아니 매바 찾던 가서 마기 받는데 문데 다디 지나도 셈 방법 연결돼 얘네야 되게 파줘야 될 가야 팽 말에 어디 거 가서래 뒤주 쳐라서 들어와 딜레 소소게 문에 전에 님고시 렌제 언제 데데게 지기나 다디 팽그래 어느 군데 자와 요바도 고쳐봐 차와 meaningful 차와
And so, this is such a beneficial prayer in many different contexts. The King of Prayers that can be of help to those we are close with, or who tend to be kind of in a downward state of mind, or relatives and so on in difficulty. That if they and if they have died, etc., that they may be depressed by this and very much in kind of deep mourning, but that to continue in that state of mind is certainly not beneficial, and indeed can become a real waste of time. That if they're encouraged to recite something like the King of Prayers, or if for their sake, and particularly for the deceased, if we were to recite the King of Prayers and dedicate sincerely whatever merit that we've accumulated for their benefit, something like that is a far more useful, beneficial thing to do. And so I think that's like taking the essence of that particular situation and making something that might other be of kind of like a maudlin sense of depression into something that is really meaningful. The second of those recent outlines was the bowing of the body. This has three aspects to it. The first is prostrating to the triple gem. Secondly is the prostration to the basis of the one who generates the mind of enlightenment, the basis which is the generation of the mind of enlightenment. And thirdly, prostration to abbots and masters, etc.
지난달에 포스트쇼스 인지 찍되게 도다 신경매대 근데 배배게 착셀스도 착세도 라게 딕바다 집바 다과 매버 소바지 착 셀스도 안데 차세사 유게 연대도 줄래마 쉬바 착 셀스 도다들이 고구요래.
So again, I'm saying really that this English translation of the term for chaksel, we normally translate that as a prostration, but it really doesn't give the kind of adequate meaning of the two syllables there. The term chaksel has the syllables chak and tsel, and chak in the context of Buddhism is that we are purifying all of our negativities. Yeah, it's like a term for cleansing, cleaning away, sweeping away, and getting rid of negativity as we go down. And then as the tsel is referring to our being able to, as it were, take on all of the good qualities of the object to whom we are prostrating. And so it's kind of like got a much more kind of like, as it said, really a clear and present meaning, hasn't it? As we actually do the actions, we can be meditating in a very focused way. to prostrate is to therefore purify all of our negativities in the sense of cleaning them away, and then assuming all of the good qualities of the object to whom we are prostrating. Prostrates in a woe la drogo. Karangi good any mar sala shago. The tondak shenta can do.
Oh, the one that bebek tick the chuck chucks the Zamasoba. Cells to the Yundel Yamasco.
So again, I was saying, yeah, that I was just asking about, is there any meaning to prostration in English? And I was just explaining it again. It simply describes placing the body in that position on the ground, like fully laid out. One is prostrate on the ground, but there's no, as far as I'm concerned, no other meaning assigned to it. Whereas the chak sel in the Tibetan tradition is this, the first part is a cleansing, cleaning away, sweeping away. And then the second is assuming the good qualities.
That kind of man, sick like get some more done that position like you know, and don't that go.
So, of course, the words themselves are not really that important, but it's the meaning behind them that please take this on. That when we talk prostration, we mean these two aspects of cleansing and of assuming good qualities. And so, yeah, when you're doing these actions, then with that meaning, I think it adds a great deal to the practice.
Timena that the Casa Marazo mixing the 21st century or Kubachi was the Kotos Kabuyo.
So I
kept some into a kept some into Tata, kept on to what? So the Tiwachava sells the lemma, kept some social to what?
The manner than because not Lucy Che. Yeah, so again, I said it's important to be able to have that meaning associated with these actions of prostration. Otherwise, we might adopt the kind of a 21st century attitude and say, oh, there's no benefit to me in this. I was suggesting again, and maybe that we'd only think of it as a good exercise, but nothing else beside that. So.
What did it? Wonder Tatanda Karyam, Tatambo de la Tanda de Kujosumla, Chatsa Wachata, Duson Shebe, that Duson Shebe as a Sanjaku, Chota Soji, Chokjala, Shindukuja Tanika, Lutupai, Dacha Cell.
So, verse number 24. We'll, of course, look at the first of these subheadings, the prostration to the three of the rare and supreme, or the triple gem. And so it reads, with bodies as numerous as all the atoms within the universe, I prostrate to all Buddhas of the three times, the Dharma, and the supreme community.
That do some sort Deba Maumba Tatawa, do some Shebe, Sanja Kusare, that did it. The Tekwa Chimbijo, Sanja Suda, Sanja Chumde, the Jugal was a Lugu on the Sanja Chumde, the Jugal Kojer Madwa. That is all Sanja Sigente, Koso the Takaja, Deba Sanja, Tatawa Sanja, Maumba Sanja, Ruata Panjarua, what are the Tamjal Kubu, with the nature? There is a Sanja Sudu, because you can't say you and the Kundichi. What did the Deba the Mawa Tata do some the Shakespeare, Sanja Kundang. Tagani Sing Longdog Tube, that church in the water better the nation to go to a body. Roa church in the Nangi Yundensa, and Longda Tobe Yunde, Recta, Long Senata, because of the Tobe Yunde, Takajachi was on the Takaja, because of the Longi church to get a check. Longi church to get a song to get a and the Yams Lene and Kazotaka, Tony was to be Shara La Sobra, Takajachi, then the statue Langa to get it, 독자 롱독 유대세 뒤에 안 최체 다 최체 최다 안 속에 저 뒤를 때에 가서 파베긴데 다 제와 대해서 군조 숨라 아니 신기 되신다 신기에서 뒤 군지 장다我的 다시 군조 숨라서 신기 뒤 군지 장 되네게 루트네 다시 다 사시 첨부게 아니 뒤그 장 그저 대다 냐면 루트네对呢다 차차로서 아니 차차 로 답변을 단답보다 수직 겨와 그절래나 되게 그가 냠도 차차야 어떻게 겨와 그절래 냠도 차차야 로 다가는 생각 장기 류대 아니 사시 첨부지 아니 사시 뒤다 장도 냠바 뒤전 아니 차차네 다가서 돈다 첨부지 다 랭고 열어 봐 딜레저다 다 니버째고 열어 이제도 아니 저 납첨부 줘야 디고 납첨부 다야 손은 납첨부 쌓여 저다 아니 니버첨부 된 로아다 가제 로아다 들어가서 배나 지고 왔다 세리 야제 숙성부 줘다 배샤 쪼고 소야 가르치고도 쓰다 아니 배 투자 먹고 쓰네 아니 배 지금 가서다 내가 쪼고 아니 먹고 아니 그 주주 통도처럼 뭐 먹고 소도에 지고 왔다 때려서 지고 왔다 왔다 뒤에 소라지래 다 뒤다 잡으러 왔다 아니 제 미그 삼리그 누바 디 아니 배 아니 제가 가서다 가서도 경제 삼로다네 아니 배 촌납 전부 저도에 가르치고도 뒷발 납 전부 다도에 가르치고도 아니 남주에 배주 땅이다 왔다 됐잖아요 초사 집장이 와도 지금 여러분
So here saying, with these bodies as numerous as all the atoms within the universe. So here we're thinking about really at the atomical level, like such a huge area at each kind of like speck, each kind of atom of dust, we are emanating that many bodies with which we can now prostrate. And we are prostrating to, again, the Buddhas of the three times. And here saying, you know, like when we think of the historical Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, according to the Mahayana tradition, it's not just the single Buddha that we know as Shakyamuni Buddha, but indeed they're included all the Buddhas of the past, of the present, and of the future. And they say all of these Buddhas we make these prostrations to, and also to the Dharma, which is the collection of a scriptural and a realizational Dharma. It is really, you know, the inner kind of realization that we have, inner qualities referring to, that we generate, such as the realization of emptiness, etc., etc. And then to the collection of the supreme Arya beings, who are the Arya Sangha. And these are the ones who have such qualities and realizations on their mind streams. And that to all of these, this triple gem of that which is both rare and supreme, that I make these prostrations, as many as the grains of dust on the ground here. And so this is very important. And so it's kind of like really pointing out again that in every instance, as much as we possibly can, we try to maximize every moment of practice that we engage in. So it's here is kind of like really, you know, taking as much as we can, the essence, as well as like making the maximum of every situation. And that here, yeah, that's kind of like a huge, we're trying to accumulate a huge amount of positive merit, and we're trying to purify a huge amount of negativity. And that's very much kind of like, you think about the modern obsession in this world with the captains of industry, for example. They are fully concentrating, you know, 24/7 on accumulating as much money as they can, as quickly as they can. And so we should try and take a leaf out of their book. And in terms of my accumulation of merit, positive merit on the one hand, and the accumulation of merit and the purification of negativity on the other. I use this technique of emanating countless bodies with which to prostrate in this particular case.
다 니바 장주가 셈께베 시소라 차체와 네사 자왈레 장주 셈제 신남다 최대한 남다 다 차체서.
And next then is the prostration to the basis of the generation of the mind of enlightenment. Verse number 25. Likewise, I prostrate to all reliquaries to the basis of an awakening mind.
다 장주가 셈제 시 간레 중에서 태정게 되는 남다. 태정게 되는 남다. 아니 산제적 구소소 최대 꿀라야 다 차체서.
And here it's really pointing out to prostration to the basis of the mind of enlightenment. That is, that which is explained and arises from the sutra basket of the Mahayana, and then also to the stupas, reliquaries, and other representations of the body of the Buddha. I prostrate.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 다 숨바 어서 켈롭 소라 차체와네사 숨바 켈롭 소라 차체와네 자왈레 로비온 대신 그래서 로비온 대신 켐보 대신 로비온다 뒤슈 초나 차체로.
And next is then the prostration to abbots and masters. From the root text, again, the second half of verse 25, to all learned abbots and masters, and to all the noble practitioners.
안지가 탑에 람라사 베베 뒤슈 초기 쿠르즈마 남라야 안 자체구요스 자체로 셔보죠.
So this describes then the kind of the abbots, masters who have are the holders really of the liberation or the individual liberation vehicle disseminations of the earlier and later complete sets of vows, the Patimokkha vows and so on. And then to those who actually have given, the ones who bestow those vows, the masters and so on. And then to all of those who have taken on the responsibility of abiding in the ethical behavior and practicing on the path to liberation. To all those I prostrate. Okay, we leave it there for today.
다다 데 가사 랑게 지워들라 다 가사 다 코알 개와주에 녀종제 삼로다 그러다 코아들에 데버다 다 동에 다 잡아두제가 동에 교회 잡아두제가 동에라 소바 다다가 지나네 잡아두제가 동에 되다 저와 좀 맞추나다다 그뒤에 코아들에 다에 매들이 되면서 코알 데버다 다 동에 나서버 용한테가 삼로스탄체다 랑게 단다 미치 내단토나 삼로탄에 딜레 타베 타바시도 만져 타부도 코알이 예버주 전에 예버주 로티니 랑게 지보라 가서데 다 타바타마치바시 주소 삼사체 아니 때네 가서데 아니 때데게 다 지금 냠내 지금 다 심지 탐제고 두고 소소 나스게 가와도 제주 다가는 생게 친한 게 최근에 신바이네 다 간제 지금 때는 중화지만도 유대는 좀 되네면 되장이 매든 가서 때는 중화고 좀 갔다 된 거서 유대는 좀 맞아 다 된거 이거 사 유대는 좀 되자면도 삼사게 아니 예네 안 되는 예배 그 로티네 님의 경과지를 교수 삼사자 다 되는 이번 인자 다 간제 심지어 탐색에도 나는 사제 공부뉴도 좀 도와줘 맞죠나 다 라신이가 된 타지부터 요한 거랍니다 라신이가 된 타지부 주발은 사제 공부 맞죠 주입니다 섬소다 심지어 탐색도 사제 공부뉴는 좀 도와주기서 공부시 아니 된대 그 로티 다위 경과지를 교수 삼사잖아 반대자 라마 좀 보자 다기 지원부터 가서 구선 투중 무지 잡고서 되는 선들 지원 때는 아니 랑게 되는 세대에 라마 투비아 공부티 아니 지 가서 되다 가자 랑게 지원 맞춰서 삼사잖아 어쩌죠 답을 가서 배 니가 가서 쇼 스며 가서 때도 주나 산제 공부 맞던 것도 제 송소 어디로 공부시
So here we bring our mind to bear on the figure of Guru Buddha in the space in front as we prepare the lotus sun and moon disk mandala seat on our own crown in preparation for inviting the Buddha there. So we start to contemplate, first of all, on renunciation, on the state in cyclic existence and how we really can't get beyond the certainty of it being in the nature of suffering itself. We have the suffering of change, and particularly pervasive suffering, knowing that unless we can overcome pervasive suffering, there's no escape from cyclic existence. So we develop this intense sense of renouncing cyclic existence and seeking this definite emergence from cyclic existence. And this striving for liberation gives rise to the lotus seat mandala. And then we think about the one I who is actually doing this striving and really to ask her where is this self, this I, and that, you know, in terms of any inner or outer phenomenon, we have to ask the similar question. And we see that how all of lack any kind of objective existence. And it's looking into this self in the body and mind, searching for it, not finding it, reaching that point of there really not being any affirmation of this object of refutation. From that sense arises the sun disk mandala seat. And then the notion of this self working for the benefit of all sentient beings, and really thinking of the state of mind which is going to fulfill the purpose not only of self but of others, and that we settle on the notion of the state of enlightenment itself. We must quickly attain that state of enlightenment, and so generate this semblance of the mind of enlightenment, and from that arises the moon disk mandala seat. And then we make the invocation prayer, O glorious and precious Ruku. Come take your lotus and moon seat placed here on my crown. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of body, speech, and mind. And we do this thrice. At the end of the first, the body begins to move towards our crown. At the end of the second, arrives there and is seated. And at the end of the third, we have this certainty that they will remain until we ourselves attain enlightenment, and we rejoice at that point.
what is it? I didn't know that Yala to my men that you are put. What that goes, what was such a jungle jet ticket? I didn't know. Consolata, running that again, she again, Joga Salatane, Nianjuga Sem Tigate, running in the Pemata Jessica Kusu, and then going to be shell at some star. What is a channel chicken? Kadichin, but you didn't do some your mother, spec. What actually? Do some your mother, some such a given, and it take a lot or the cost of the你们经过这个就说什么啥？但呢，我当讲究个什么什么啥？在这个什么的，在这个也别什么大个人， and David was to something, but there's a number of Ninga payment the country could do good to the Sunday Tabic of pet, never of the show, some of the tension, Sunday Kumamato, Chelsea. Then Gamat Markazon and Ning net on the same as something, and they got the Dojik of Zanga, what you had. And the Tadilla, Takajam, don't bet Sanga. Diet of monument, diet of monument moms, Tibet Sanga to the Quadanaguachi job. 숨지게 채워드리 잖아. 잠배양 생각 엄다리 두다리 두서 엄다리 두도 엄다리 들으시 거래 치고 숨지 호텔에 주자. 아니 내가 거래나 걸 된den가 오면 예다마 해도나 그런 마셔만에 소들이 가슴 거. 아니 딘 위들라 닝기 위소랑 진짜 저 넘버 마셔야 또 바티 구송토라 위에서 주네 랑게 집어내 칸디가 발아 위에서 주네. 아니 저 가소래다. 토마면 디바자 다 켜봐도야다 지금 소주바 마저 미잔 저봐 주요 참아 저좀 같이 나선에서 로달로 쓰면다 룡아이수 디바 또 컨텐츠 왔다 디야 안 소다게 동바다 커와 자주스면 라바다 커와 상하게 담치다 커와 쓰면 디바 다 또나 제베 하나마도 라신 하나마도 네바 컨텐츠 요바이나 셋딜라 띵가마 토마면 디바 뭐 차다 장치 따봐 줘서 다 야고 쉬워 줘서 어서서 어디를 고마시
And so, at this point, then with the Buddha on our crown, we make the offerings of mandala and the seven-limbed practice for the purpose of accumulating positive merit and of purifying negative imprints, karmas. Then we again focus now on our heart center here, again establishing the lotus sun and moon disk mandala seat for the purpose of inviting the Buddha, the Guru Buddha there. I'm going through the meditation again of really establishing the lotus seat mandala on the basis of meditating on renunciation, reaching that point of really determining to attain definite emergence from cyclic existence. And then the sun disk mandala established, reaching that point of really having a certainty around the lack of any objective existence of a self, of a self entity. And really pointing that out, there's no way this could exist at all in the way it appears. And really, having that certainty, then giving rise to the sun disk mandala, and the determination, the pure determination to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all, giving rise to the moon disk mandala seat. So once that then has been prepared at the heart in that sense, that way, then we make the invocation verse again. O glorious and precious root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here at my heart, and keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of body, speech, and mind. And that at the end of the first recitation, the body, the Guru Buddha on our crown, stirs and moves down through the central channel. At the end of the second, arrives at the heart center, and at the end of the third, we have the certainty that they will be established there steadfastly until we attain the state of enlightenment. And then at this point, light rays begin to emanate from the Guru Buddha, now settled at our heart center, permeating through the lotus petals which have folded over and have been sealed by the five-pronged Vajra. And they have also been surrounded by the triple mantra of the name mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha, the mantra of Manjushri, and the mantra of dependent origination. And so the light rays now permeate through all of that, and then permeate through the entire body. Every cell from the crown to the soles of the feet are permeated by this purifying, intensely purifying light, and purifying all the negativities and obscurations we have accumulated since beginning of time. Negativities associated with killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, with stealing, with lying, harsh speech, divisive speech, and idle gossip, and with covetousness, malicious intent, and wrong view. All of the negativities that are associated with our infractions of the Pratimoksha vows, the tantric vows, the bodhisattva vows, all of the negativities that have naturally occurring negativities and anything that has been proscribed by the Buddha in his teachings as well. And not just in this life that we can recall, but we take in all of what has been committed in the previous lives, the previous life to this one, the previous one to that, going right back to beginningless time.
Geshe Konchok Tsering what did they Sarota? And then Ladon da Kancha Zada long Tilly Yun Tanjan and it's a Kana Tanja Dabaraja Bashi Chatwa. And how do the new to Sadia Kumatavi and Gyun Chishu Tamega Nashi, and Tamega Nashi Gyun Tamja Jan, Kana Tanja Dabaraja Bashi Chatwa some sort of Masha.
And so likewise, that any imbalance in the four elements in our bodies are rebalanced, and likewise the channels, the winds and drops are purified of any stain or fault in them. And also any imprints we have for sickness and illness and so on, they have also been completely eradicated, and that particularly the fault of our seeing and understanding life through ordinary appearance, that this is being the principal fault and obstacle to our quickly being able to attain enlightenment, that is dealt with as well, so that now we can perceive and see with pure appearance.
And Lama Shajas good legislature, the Rangi with the Lama Shajas and Kulujusu, some such. So the Shindu Travel sent in the language, Lama Shajas and two the legislature, Rangi sent the Lama Shajas and Tula Jusu, so Rangi Lunga is so Lama Shajas and Kuzu to Yeme Jusu, sons of Kumashi.
So then, through the combination of my own lost subtle wind acting as the substantial cause, together with the body of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, my own body is transformed into the enlightened body of a Buddha. And then through the combination of my own most subtle mind acting as the substantial cause, together with the mind of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, my own mind is transformed into the enlightened mind of a Buddha. And now I perceive myself as a body, speech, and mind as being inseparable from the body, speech, and mind of a Buddha.
And then Rangi Nesag Netia Neg Tamja 10 Lama Shajas and Tabishan the Jusu, sons of Kumashi.
Likewise, the place that I am in is completely now purified and divested of all fault and stain, and is transformed into a pure Buddha realm.
Lama Shajas and and Kuzu to the more image to a tea, Tugale, Lama Shajas and Kupado Mevatun. Randa Rangi Tawa was Simja Tamjela Pony Takaja. Taiva Maya Simja Tamja, George Simja Tamjela, Wata, did we Paul Tenet, Paul Tenet, that Tamja Tom, Tiba the Tibat Chan, that Lama Shajas of Kuzu, you make you some such.
And then seeing myself as this enlightened being, inseparable from inseparable from the qualities of a Buddha, I send out countless rays of light from my own heart center to all the 6 realms of existence, to all the limitless beings in those realms. They're being touched by these lights. They are spontaneously purified of all negativities and obscuration and arise as fully enlightened Buddhas.
What the legend that, what the legend, the Lama Shakus of the war, you must net Lama Shajas and the Caso that Tabashin to so some such, and Takaja Simja Tanja and Lama Shajas and Komba Tobata. And it the Caso de and the teacher of Sosu Gawa Tuba, to go so you take on the mother, but Toba Pata somewhere, some such.
And the place that they're in also is again purified of any fault and transformed into the enlightened realm of a Buddha. And now I consider the all of these sentient beings and their attainment of enlightenment and the virtue that brought them to that state, as well as myself as the agent of that virtue. I realize that they are completely lacking any objective existence and are merely imputed by thought. This gives rise to a sense of bliss, which combines with voidness, and I abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness. And today is the day I have led all sentient beings to that state of enlightenment. I fulfilled that purpose. How wonderful. I really rejoice. And of course, I know I'm acting at the level of imagination here. It's not so easy to attain these states that we are imagining, but I sincerely dedicate that I may actualize what I am visualizing as quickly as possible, to really eradicate all the obscurations and obstacles to that as quickly as possible. Gong You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of compassion, not aimed at true existence, and Manjeshri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hordes of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Losangaka, at your feet and make requests.
Last one,